Hey y'all, it's Alice with The Witch in the Glen. Hit the like button on your way in. I'm just getting used to saying that, but it will help my baby channel to get recommended some more on YouTube. This is a timeless reading, so anytime that you see this reading, just know that whatever, if it resonates with you, then it might be your reading. You can claim it, so to speak. And if it does not resonate with you, then you can just leave what doesn't. If anything, and you know what that means is, like, if anything seems like familiar or like, oh my God, that sounds like what's happening in my life, that sounds like so-and-so, then that is a message, that is likely it's a message for you, something about that. So it doesn't necessarily have to follow the story exactly, but it's like we're working with the energies. And so it'd be the energy of what's happening in your life. So while we might not specifically have a literal prince coming to rescue you, that, like, for example, is the energy of one type of story that's out there. I am currently playing with the Lover's Path Tarot, which I cannot find the booklet to, and I was just in another reading, was lamenting that I don't know where the booklet is, so I can't, there are some of these stories on these cards that I can't quite remember what it is, what they represent, but I love this deck, and most of it I sort of remember, and it keeps calling to me to play with it. So here we are. These are the stories that want to come out. So this is channeled energy. It's a channeled energy reading. It's sort of like stream of consciousness. I'm not reading on my own energy. This is the collective, but you kind of use what a psychic medium is a medium is like a medium, you know, like different types of art supplies, basically. You know, you can pick your medium, pick what do you want to, or your medium could be dance. What is like, how do you make your art? What do you use to make your art? And that is what a psychic medium is. It is a person who is the substance of, the spirit uses the person as the medium for communication, for the art of, because God communicates in art and love and true love, beautiful stories, beautiful landscapes, beautiful people, beautiful souls is what I mean. And they usually translate to a beautiful person. You can tell when somebody has a beautiful soul because they are beautiful no matter what they look like. So yeah, we were channeling energy. Okay, and none of these cards seem to be wanting to come out. Let's let me do a okay, so I have this lovely deck that I've never brought out before, but it is, not only is it so beautifully color coordinated with my backdrop, and it's just like the most beautiful art and the cutest little book, but I haven't been using it in like a year or so, or a year and a half or something, because this tarot deck just kind of reminds me of like my real dark night of the soul. And but it was also like, I love this deck so much because it helped guide me out of that. So I have this deck out because I was hoping, I've been keeping it sort of treasured like as my secret deck. It was the one that I used to hide before I just went all out and got addicted to tarot decks and the artistry of all of it. But I had my one deck and I would keep it hidden, sort of. I mean, in a pretty little bag, but it has a really beautiful box, but I would just keep it hidden because I didn't want people to judge me or something, as if anyone even came over my house. But I was even thinking my family was going to judge me for it, but they apparently are like, what's tarot? And they don't like remotely have any reaction. So that's kind of funny. All these Southern Baptist people who act like they're so into anti-demonics and stuff, and it's like, well, tarot is like witchcraft 101. It's also Psych 101, y'all. Psychology 101. Is like begins with Carl Jung and Freud, and so we all know what Freud talked about, penis envy, blah blah blah. But Carl Jung talked about like how the universe is comprised of stories and energies, and he wrote about tarot and it's like the archetypes of the hero's journey, and he thought that this was instrumental in like the existential consideration of the nature of life itself and what he did with his patients. And so tarot really has its basis in not only like really spiritual kind of very spiritual kind of communities that might also call themselves witchy, but that's sort of I don't want to, it's just sort of a word. What does it mean to you? Because not all witches are into Wicca, which is really pretty, but not all people like organized bands of spirituality, kind of regression towards the mean, which is not very good. You want here we go. Okay, Four of Cups. Thank you. Okay, the Four of Cups and the Elder of Wands. Okay, so I want to clear this deck. That's what I'm getting at. I want to clear this deck, but there's some stories that are in here that haven't been told. So let's see what stories it has, okay? And y'all can help me work through this. So the Four of Cups and the Elder of Wands. Let me go straight to my little book, because this is like, all the pages are falling out. Elder, let's see, where are you? Suit of Wands. Okay, we want to read Elder of Wands first. That's what the book is showing me. Okay, exuberance and assertiveness. When you artfully unleash your passion, you activate your inner Elder of Wands. This child has a spark, the explorer has a burst, but the elder has exuberant fireworks, showing a mastery of the fire element. It takes time and effort to develop this skill, but the results are worth it. Yeah, so the salamander is a symbol of like, it's like mythically they can be forged in the fire, they can go in the fire, but they're also adept and swim in the water. So they're just kind of this very powerful spiritual like symbology is in the salamander. This card invites you to be assertive when it comes to your desires. Declare your ideal outcome and go for it. You've developed your power, and now you must choose how to channel it. Don't be afraid to be flashy. The world needs your big, bold contributions. That is the overarching theme that I want you to, think about, is like, you can do bold things. You can be bold. Don't be afraid to be bold. And like, keep saying that word over and over again, because you might have forgotten even what it means. Okay. And then we are going to look at the Four of Cups. And so just like there's an artist who does the cards, there's also a writer who's usually the designer of like the idea of the cards, and then the artist draws them. Sometimes they're the same person, but that's why some books have particularly nice little, some tarot decks have particularly nice little booklets. The Four of Cups asks if you are withdrawing from the flow. The Four of Cups sits on a boulder outside of the water's current. Have you removed yourself from a sea of opportunities available to you? At times, this card suggests apathy or self-centeredness. Have you slipped into these energies? There's a complexity to the Four of Cups. Although it can indicate sulkiness, it can also suggest a need for emotional stability. Is your heart asking you to temporarily disengage so you can return to your own center? Feel into the nuanced message this card offers you at this moment. Yeah, so see, that's where I'm getting this message. It's like this flow into this Elder of Wands that can kind of like, if this is apathy and there's not really anything happening, but it's like ominous sort of, it's like the river is just flowing, but you know, maybe one day it's going to get, you know, it looks like the water rises and then the cups are necessarily going to get lost in the flow. So it's like this, like, it's kind of a stable place, but it doesn't really have, it's not really tenable long term. And that's where we have the Elder of Wands coming in, and it was in the reverse. So the Elder of Wands in reverse, it's like, that is the most, it's like the King of Wands in another deck is also the Elder of Wands. And he is dynamic. He has great communication skills. So this could be, that's the energy of these things coming in. And so it's like this Elder of Wands is in reverse though, and that might be why it's stuck at the Four of Cups. It's like the Four of Cups is keeping the Elder of Wands not only stuck in Wands, which is great, but, and it's all fireworks there, but you know, you kind of get sick of fireworks sometimes. In fact, I don't really like fireworks, personally, except I really like the smell. But the Elder of Wands in reverse, it's like his power is stunted. Like, it has this phallic symbol. The wand is like supposed to be a phallic symbol as well as a sword. So it's kind of the masculine suits. But here it's like inverted. It just doesn't, I mean, not inverted, but it's just like, that's not the way it's supposed to be. It's not the way it's supposed to be pointed. And so it's like the stability, but it's going to crash. So let's keep going with this and see what else these cards want to tell. Thank you. The Explorer of Cups. I love this card. It's beautiful. In this deck, it's a koi fish who is finding the sweet essence of emotion at the bottom of the ocean. But she has to dive all the way down to, like, in the depths of this dark pool, and you see the sunlight. She's able to bring the sunlight down, and the sunlight is revealing the emotion right there. At the bottom, it's like the treasure. So the Explorer of Cups, it's like the Page of Cups. She's there's somebody who's coming to give a message of some kind, like maybe a love note, a text, a love note, something like that, sliding into your DMs, so to speak, your divine masculine. It's all coming together, isn't it? Maybe not. Yeah, so it's like we don't even want to tell any more about this message, but I kind of want to know more. There's this love offer coming in. What else can you tell us about this Four of Cups energy? What else can we, dear quantum field, dear field of morphic resonance, dear electromagnetic field of the planet, the Fool, nice. Okay, it was the Fool in reverse, but but the Fool is a beautiful card where it's like this, I mean, and that's, the Fool, like, it can't even really be in reverse. It's like this, it's supposed to be this like like the void, the singularity, the ultimate everything. It's like God itself, God mode, where you can dictate anything you want to dictate, including the programming itself. Like, you can change the program, you can do whatever you can, and that's like the Fool, the energy of that. And so there's usually a person, it's often depicted with a person, but I love that it's like, gives you this, it's like you're going off into the sunset, and it's sort of like a leap of faith, and these are your, like, it looks like your path extends even further into the sun, into the sunrise. It actually is what it seems like to me. But it might look like a sunset to you. I always think that's interesting. It's like you take this leap of faith, kind of. But it was in reverse. So I think that's like kind of how we get to this Four of Cups energy, because it's in it's like the energy just before, like the energy just before you become have the Fools. And so it's like the state of being complete and utterly still, and there is nothing, like not a single bit of energy that is moving. It's like that kind of, and then the immediate snap, like the big bang to the this Fool energy, this God mode energy, but it's like it's stuck. It's like, but it's like it's it's like a like we were just playing with this cat toy where it's like this little cute little stretchy cord attached to this flying squirrel, and you just like, you know, do your finger and let the squirrel go, and it goes across the room, and it's really fun. It's kind of fun to play with. But that is the energy of the Fool, where it's like you extend back. It's like potential energy, and after the let go, like that point is the Fool's energy. But right before that, there is this static moment of almost like weightlessness at the very back of the pole, and that is the opposite energy of the Fool. So it's just this energy of waiting and waiting. It's palpable, and it's almost too, it's like stuck there, and it's because of this. And this Elder of Wands is stuck there too in reverse. Tell us why. I mean, there's, and so we have this Explorer of Cups, like somebody's like he's reaching out, and that might be where it, like what is helping this Elder of Wands get into this Explorer of Cups energy. We have the Five of Wands. So some kind of conflict has come in, and that is kind of spurring this wand to see, these are all topsy-turvy. So it's like he's going to get mixed up and get back into his stride. The Elder of Wands is it's like a sexual role. So it's kind of getting into the moving from like a point, like the opposite of sexuality is like this state of trauma, this like chaos in your nervous system, and the state of like sexual arousal should be like the polar opposite of that. So it's like being like fully vulnerable sexually. That is the Elder of Wands too. And so it was like in reverse. So there's not really full vulnerability, but there's been all this conflict, and this, even if it's like a personal, could be interpersonal turmoil. Tell us more about this Five of Wands turmoil energy. Tell us more about this turmoil energy. Tell us more about the turmoil energy. Tell us more about this turmoil energy. Just keep looking at this light coming down, cascading on that card. I hope you can see it. This is really nice. It's like this message of hope, and that koi fish, I mean, that could be a thing for you. I think, you know, there are koi fish in my life, so that's a personal, like I've been thinking about that, but there might be koi fish in your life, or you might have gone to like a garden of some sort where there are koi fish. You might have like a koi pond or something like that. It could be an aquarium, but or you might go swimming with somebody. Like in a natural setting. Woo! Yeah, the Hierophant. So that is like a wedding card. Like, so an ultimate joining in union is the Hierophant, and it's also like a spiritual leader. You see the light shining. It's like a Messiah energy, but it's kind of goes into this spiritual union that's going to come from this like Explorer of Cups. What else can you tell us about this? So there's going to be, I think there's going to be a wedding. So this could even be some like a moving into one's fears. Yeah, and it's going to be a happy ending. That's what the Sun is. It's a really happy card. And look, it's so simple and pure. And they're little like sun splatter in the air. It's really a pretty illustration, almost like stars, but it's in the sunshine. So like little gnats in the morning. That's kind of what it looks like. That's what the artist is going for. I love this art. The World. Yeah. So this is going to be this is a big deal. So the Sun, the World, these are like the happiest cards. And to have this, it's like, this has been a really, really tough stage, but this is the stage that's like the compression right before there is a crystal, like form like that kind of crystal. But before that, it was some rock that's then been compressed, and it refracts, it's able to refract light in a certain way, whereas before it was opaque. And so it's like, this is what happens. It has to have the compression to turn into like a crystal that can direct the energy, that can refract the light and reflect it and move forward with the light rather than absorbing it like a dark, like something dark kind of, you know, this absorbs a lot of energy, and this big hunk of obsidian absorbs a lot of energy because it's so opaque. But this is like a really, you know, I think that's like it's like the pressure that is able to turn this up, get this Elder of Wands out of this like kind of stuck, stagnant, but like ominous energy here. And it's like that propels us. It's like this some kind of conflicts happening, and it's like personal, like it's like this kind of energy. It's like it's not stable, and you have to, there's gonna be, if you don't make a change from this kind of energy, there's gonna be something else that comes and makes a change for you. And that is what this is like, inner turmoil, or like, it's like stuff is gonna come up if you're in this position. It's like getting into a bad relationship. It's like you cannot avoid, like, even if y'all aren't fighting supposedly, there are ramifications for the fact that you're in an inauthentic relationship that bleeds into society, that people are masking the fact that they're not in love with each other. But and telling our children that these are the people that they need to be modeling, people who are not. Anyway, yeah, so this is like needs to change, and this is the conflict, inner conflict that comes in to get us into the full energy. And then it's just like this light-hearted, lightweight, almost drifting energy up to the surface and then back down. Yeah, and then we've got a happy ending. Thank you. We're gonna end it here.